Apollo and Andrade for the United States Championship title booted to the pre-show for flying ninjas. Newly crowned Raw Women's Champion Asuka can't even defeat Nya Jax. And we all poked fun at the concept of the greatest professional wrestling match ever between Edge and Randy Orton. But when it was all said and done, was it actually the greatest professional wrestling match ever? Oh, we're gonna talk about it all. Together, we will dissect Backlash 2020, and together, we will find out if it was good, bad, or ugly. All right, baby. The good, the bad, and the ugly. These are some of my favorite videos to do in a month. And what I want you guys to do is play along with the Amplified Man this time. Unlike good, the bad, and the ugly reviews in the past, I want this to be a joint effort. So first, let me explain the rules. It's quite simple. Every single main show match gets a tally in either the good, the bad, or the ugly column. Main show matches only. Sorry, Apollo and Andrade. However, if there is a tiebreaker at the end, we will then go to the kickoff show, and Apollo and Andrade will decide if this was a good or bad pay-per-view. The most important rule here to remember is you need to stay away from that ugly column. Because at the end of this vid, when we tally up the final numbers, every ugly tally gets crossed out and it becomes two bads. Trust me when I say this, because I've been doing this style of a review for a couple of years now. I have seen many occasions where those uglies have drastically changed the outcome in deciding if a pay-per-view was good or bad. Stay away from that fucking ugly column, WWE, because that will ravage your review on that pay-per-view. And I gotta be honest, I cannot promise you that there ain't gonna be any uglies in this review for Backlash, because there are things last night that boggled the dome piece of the Amplified Man. But I digress. We'll go match by match on this main show, and we'll do this one at a time. Now, I'm asking you guys, for the first time ever, I want you guys to kind of play along. I want to know your final tallies. How many did you have in the good, the bad, and the ugly? I want to see a lot of numbers down below. Not that I don't love your comments, you can add that too, but I want a separate comment on just your numbers. In other words, there were 7 matches. Did you have it 3 good, 3 bad, and 1 ugly? Then put down 3, 3, and 1. But think about this card. Think about every match on the main show only. Please don't do the pre-show. Don't do Andrade and Apollo. But think about this main show card. And where would you put each match column-wise? And then put it down below. The amount of viewers that are going to watch this video will be into the thousands. So there's no damn excuse, no reason why at least 100 of you guys can't play along with the Amplified Man. I want to see at least 100 people out there watching me. Give me your numbers. How many did you have in the good? How many in the bad? And how many in the ugly? I want to see how you guys rated this sumbitch. There. That's my fucking cold open for you. Now, let's get to the Amplified review. Let's see if this pay-per-view was good or bad. First match of the night is a triple threat for the Women's Tag Team Championships. This is champion Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I don't like schmaz matches. Especially schmaz matches for championships. You guys know how I feel. One champion should be taking on one challenger. A number 1 contender. It's not contenders with an S. Now, if you're in a tag team match and you are the champions, then you would have number one contenders, but that would only mean one tag team. It should not mean multiple tag teams. Because now you're taking away from the prestige of the championships. You're taking away from the respect and the honor of being number one contenders. At that point, just add in the number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 contenders. I say that as a joke, but we've seen in WWE. Tag team and singles, we've seen 3, 4, and fatal 5 ways for championships. 6-pack challenges. Whatever happened to a number one contender becoming that because they worked their way up the ranks? No, that takes time and effort to build somebody. So what does WWE do? They just throw everybody in there. It takes less effort. Oh, we got a pay-per-view coming up. We have a title that needs to be defended. Throw in everybody. I guess beggars can't be choosers. At least this was only a triple threat. WWE is known to throw in fucking multiple tag teams. Way more than 3. So fuck. I guess this is a blessing. So right out of the gate, these poor 6 ladies are digging themselves out of a pre-made hole that was dug by WWE Creative. No fault of their own. That might not be fair, but they were digging themselves out of a hole. It's a schmoz match for a championship title. And on top of that, not only were these 6 ladies put in a bad predicament being in a schmoz at a pay-per-view, but on top of that, they were faced with the task of opening the show. Everybody knows the 2 most highly stressed positions for a professional wrestler to be tasked with is to main event the show and to open the show. These 6 ladies had a lot of weight on their shoulders. But I'm so proud of all of them. Literally, they were only given 9 minutes. Bell to bell, this match clocked in at 9 minutes. And these ladies did all they possibly could have done. The Iconics played their heel characters beautifully. Alexa Bliss was fucking with a level of confidence I've never seen Alexa Bliss fuck with before. Alexa Bliss just went for... Fuck! That's all I've ever asked for out of Alexa. A lot of people like to be hard on Alexa Bliss. You guys know I actually don't mind Alexa Bliss. I like Alexa Bliss. It's because I know there's more in her. There's a fire in her. There's a confidence in her. The problem is 85-90% of the time at least, you don't see it. Last night, you didn't just see it. You saw her owning shit. She's Luthez pressing everybody. She's throwing in those fucking ham fucking makers. Ham and eggers. What was that? Bobby the Brain Heenan? She's throwing in fucking bows, bro. Who else? Nikki Cross keeps upping her game finally, man. She's still not where she was in NXT, but Nikki Cross is starting to come into her own. You can't really blame her since she's got to the main roster just like everyone else. She's been stuck in irrelevancy. She's probably trying to find her own confidence once again. But we're starting to see more out of Nikki. Sasha Banks and Bayley were just Sasha Banks and Bayley, just straight fire. When is Sasha Banks and Bayley ever really putting in a bad performance? Doesn't happen really. Bayley, when she first got to the main show, was a shell of herself, of what she once was in NXT. But now, we're starting to see Bayley be fucking Bayley again. So that's good to see. So, man, I don't know. Every one of these ladies just brought it, I felt, man. For 9 minutes, that's... Just picture being in a triple threat, 6 human beings, and Creative tells you you only have 9 minutes. I think it was 8 minutes and 45 seconds was the actual time. And you gotta do everything you wanna do. You gotta try to put together a good match in just over 8 minutes. No way I'm shitting on these fucking ladies. There was no way Sasha and Bayley were gonna lose those championships this soon. As much as I want to see them separate, because I think Sasha needs to be on her own, going for a singles championship, hopefully one day, by the year 2047, we can get Sasha versus Bayley for the title. As much as I want them separate, There's no way they can already lose the titles. I mean, they just won them. So we knew they weren't going to drop the fucking titles. Creative only gives them over 8 minutes, just under 9. What more could we have asked for here? Sasha ends up pinning Alexa Bliss in a little bit of a roll-up situation, and Sasha and Bayley retain the championships. This goes into the good column, guys. There's nothing more I could have asked for. In fact, I was more impressed. I came into this thing with no expectation, and I walked away from it impressed, and I couldn't have been more proud of all 6 of these ladies. Iconics! Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Sasha Banks, Bayley. I don't care if you guys don't like 1, 2, 3, or all of them. I'm giving them their props. This was good. You know, you got to open the show. That was one of the matches that was live last night, too. They delivered, man. I'm proud of them. That's for everybody. BC's never positive. He's just one of those negative YouTubers. He's a negative critic. I don't like BC. Am I really? Or am I first and foremost looking for that effort, that confidence? I want you to go in there and not just make yourself look good, but make your opponent look good. Tell a story in the ring. Do what you're capable of. If you do all of those things, 9 out of 10 times, chances are, you're going into the good column. Providing creative and booking doesn't absolutely ruin you from the start. Sometimes that's just the case. And no matter how good the match is or no matter how good the performances are, creative has put them in a fucking hole. Sometimes I gotta put you directly in the ugly column because creative put you there, not the Ant-Man. Next up was a fucking, look at that, I need another fucking coffee. My fucking stomach's like, give me my number 4. That's right, I've already had fucking 3. It's barely fucking 7 a.m. It's one of those days. I got a lot to do today. What the fuck am I doing here? So we already got 1 in the good column, 1 match in. So that's good. We're starting off literally good. Let's keep the momentum. Match number 2 was a grudge match. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Match time clocked in at 18 minutes when this was all said and done. So an 18-minute match. I loved the physicality of this match. If you're labeled as a grudge match, one of the first things I'm going to look for is physicality. I mean, there's a crazy concept. You're a grudge match. You've had this long, drawn-out, real in-depth story. Got personal. You damn well better bet I'm looking for physicality. Because that helps tell the story that these dudes can't stand one another. Again, this is logic and common sense. Hardy got his ass kicked, but just wouldn't give up this entire match. This was a Hardy ass whooping. Sheamus was tooling on this sumbitch. But Jeff Hardy just would not give up, man. This is what I mean about telling the story in the ring. Right? It's basically Jeff Hardy's story in real life. Yes, he takes an ass whooping in real life. A lot of that is caused by himself, but he doesn't give up. He keeps fighting. He keeps kicking ass. And that translated and transferred into that ring last night when Sheamus is beating on this poor kid. And he keeps surviving. And that it's a great metaphor for real life. Because in life, he is a survivor through all he's been through. Whether his fault or not, whether the blame is placed on solely him or not, he's a survivor. So I just love that because I couldn't help but think about the ass whipping he's taken. And metaphorically, that's the same thing in real life. And he keeps surviving. But at the 18-minute mark, Hardy took a bro kick he just could not get up from. It was a pretty badass bro kick. Sheamus takes a huge W here. And I'm surprised. Usually you see these type of stories go in favor of the face at the pay-per-view. That's what I always tell you guys. You have a long culminating story. Right? Culminating meaning at the pay-per-view. But you have the story where the heel is getting the best of the face most weeks. Sometimes every week, the heel is getting the best of the face. And then at the pay-per-view, the face gets the ultimate revenge in a culminating victory. They didn't go that way, man. They had Jeff Hardy fucked with for weeks. And then when it came time for the match, it was Sheamus who got the culminating victory. But the story in itself that was told during the match And Sheamus, man, it looks like they're gonna really give him a push. Not just victories over the shortest G of them all. You know, this isn't just a Shorty G feud. This is with Jeff Hardy. And they dedicated a lot of time into the story. And then when it came time for the match, Sheamus wins. I like when they literally get behind somebody. Don't 50-50 book them. Let's see what they truly have and what you're gonna do with them. So for those reasons, that goes into the good column, guys. I see nothing bad here. So we're 2 matches in. You want to talk momentum? Well, the Amplified Man is giving you that momentum. For WWE, I'm saying you kick this thing off pretty good. 2 matches in, 2 into the good column. But knowing WWE, they always find a way when they're doing good, consistently good, to fuck it up. And that's what they did next. Because match number 3 was for the Raw Women's Championship. Champion Asuka taking on challenger Nya Jax. Bell to bell, this was only 9 minutes long. Just under 9 minutes. Just like the first women's match of the night for the tag titles. That was clocked in at just under 9 minutes. Asuka and Nya Jax clocked in at just under 9 minutes. So, bro, let's cut the bullshit right out of the gate. This goes directly into the ugly column. Unapologetically, and you damn well know why I'm putting it there. But just in case you don't, allow me to explain. You have, and that's right, you're looking at that some bit, you're like, whoa, that went right into the ugly. That's right, that bypasses the bad, right into the ugly. And again, you have Asuka in a match barely 9 minutes long. Your Raw Women's Champion in a competitor, a wrestler like Asuka, in a match that is barely 9 minutes long. And the best they had creatively for Asuka at a pay-per-view. Just a few weeks after winning the championship. Or getting the I say she won it because she did get that briefcase at Money in the Bank. Some people say she was just handed it, but Asuka has deserved that title for years now. And she's the one who brought down that briefcase 24 hours before Becky Lynch presented that title. So I say she won it. Either way you look at it, she just got it a couple weeks ago. And at a pay-per-view, she can't even beat Nia Jax. The best creative had for Asuka, weeks after she just got the title, at a pay-per-view, is a double count out with Nia Jax. Asuka's first big title defense since winning the sumbitch. And she can't even beat She-Inch's mouse, girls. Come on, bro. Somebody like Asuka, you build her as a champion. It's a shame you even have to build her, but you ruined her every way you fucking possibly could have. But you built, I mean, if it is Charlotte Flair that's going to take it off of her, which we know is the case, that's what the old man in Stamford, Connecticut is going to do. He's going to put it on his golden child. They probably wanted it for SummerSlam, but I'm sure Vince wants a big crowd, so they're going to prolong it. It looks like they're going to prolong Nia and Asuka for another pay-per-view. I wouldn't doubt Charlotte gets added to that even. But eventually, Charlotte will most likely take it off of Asuka. So you can't at the very least, build up Asuka to get to Charlotte. No, you have to go ahead and protect Nia Jax for some reason. It literally injures almost every female on the roster. And instead of getting punished or being taken off the road or being retrained, she gets rewarded. We're going to protect you. Don't worry, Nia. Asuka, one of the best wrestlers in the world, she won't beat you. Asuka and Nia Jax go to a double count out in less than 9 minutes. That's the best you had for an Asuka Women's Championship match. If you don't find fault with that, bro, a couple 2-3 screws loose in the dome piece. I didn't even need to explain that most likely to you guys. That's directly into the fucking bad. Again, unapologetically, I can't even fucking believe that somebody would come up with that type of a finish. Let's worry about protecting Nya Jax, and let's not give a fuck about how we make Asuka look. So, in one match, right, we started off great in two back-to-back goods. But in one match, we're even. It's a tie. Because remember what I told you guys, every ugly will get crossed off in the end of this, and it turns into two bads. And that's how we determine if it's a good or a bad pay-per-view. Well, now you're tied. Because once we cross that sumbitch off right now, after 3 matches, we're 2-2. I said stay away from the fucking ugly. WWE, that means stay away from ugly booking. Ugly creative. Double count out in 9 minutes. Who the fuck are you protecting, dude? It's Sheamus mouse, girls! It's not some immaculate wrestler, bro. It's actually somebody who needs to be retrained. Let's protect her. Let's not give a fuck about what we do with Asuka. Next month, she's probably losing to fucking Charlotte Flair. What a title reign Asuka's already off to. And this is what I mean for anybody that says, oh, BC, relax, man. Booking can be screwed with, right? They can be booked horribly a few weeks and then have one good night. No, they can't. Because every time they're booked horribly, we take note of that in our subconscious. And that builds their own fucking aura. That's just how human thought works. Human ideology, right? We take things at all times and we are constantly putting them into our subconscious. Well, if you see that Asuka can't even beat Nya Jax, if you've seen Asuka lose to Charlotte Flair 117 times already, you start thinking, maybe Asuka isn't that good. And that's not good because Asuka is that good. Ow. Oh, BC, we got a lot of matches to go, man. I'm already getting fucking fired up. I need another coffee. Match number 4. This was for the Universal Championship. This is champion Braun Strowman taking on The Miz and Morrison. Another schmaz match. Why have one-on-one for a singles title? No, let's add in multiple people. Before this match even starts, we have the world premiere of Miz and Morrison's new single, Hey Ho, Braun Strowman's Got to Go. It's a music video, and it's got lyrics. Miz and Morrison are fucking singing, or maybe it's like lip singers. You guys remember Milli Vanilli? This is a true story. Milli Vanilli, they were a duo. And they had a big hit single, Girl, You Know It's True. Ooh, 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 I love you. Okay, I don't do it justice, but this was their single. You can Google this. Milli Vanilli. I think it was called Girl, You Know It's True. They got caught lip singing one night in, I believe it was New Haven, Connecticut, or Hartford, Connecticut. They were lip singers. They didn't even sing their own song, guys. This is a true story. Milli Vanilli was their name. They didn't even sing. They couldn't even sing. But whoever discovered them just thought they had a good look. So they had real singers sing all their songs. And then when they got on stage, they just lip synced the entire concert. One night in Connecticut, the tape got stuck. And it just was on a loop. Girl, you know, girl, you know, girl, you know, girl, you know. So these two dudes are on stage. They got caught red-handed. Their entire act, their entire careers shattered in one night in Connecticut. I think there might be tape on this too. I don't know. After this review, check it out, man. I don't know what brought me onto that. Oh, probably because they don't sing their own fucking... they didn't sing their own music. I don't know if Miz and Morrison actually sang this or not. If they did, that makes it even better. You guys ever see Joe Exotic from, what's that show called? Tiger King. It's on Netflix. And Joe Exotic has all these fucking songs that he supposedly wrote. I saw a tiger, and a tiger saw a man. That ended up not being Joe. I didn't know that. Everyone's like, BC, you didn't know that wasn't Joe? I didn't know that wasn't Joe Exotic. It's him singing in the music video. It says it's by Joe Exotic. Why would I think otherwise? No. So apparently that's a real thing in the industry. I'm going on a side rant here, all right? What do you want from fucking me? This could be a 2-hour-long review. Who cares? Sit back, relax, and enjoy it. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, Miz and Morrison's music video. So I don't know if they were singing this shit or not. Listen, bottom line is, I gotta admit, growing up through the 90s, which was the explosion of boy bands, Miz and Morrison's music shattered anything that the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC ever did. I actually didn't mind that song last night. So, I don't know. Maybe that's because I had the unfortunate circumstance to grow up in the 90s of boy bands. And I love the 90s, but I could have done without the boy bands part. But Miz and Morrison, man, I love how they started that, right? I'm already frustrated that I'm going to see a schmaz title match, and all of a sudden we have this, this music video. If you weren't laughing at that, that is where comedy is allowed. Not with your champions like, oh, I don't know, the tag team champs for the Raw brand, Steeet Profits, right? Where you actually want to see them be taken seriously. This is where comedy is allowed. You know Braun Strowman's going to win this match anyway. Let's really bring out Miz and Morrison's characters. Anyway, I can't say enough about that little 3-minute music video segment. Actual match bell to bell clocked in at 7 minutes. Now I know you're thinking 7-minute title match. BC is definitely going bad section at the very least with this one. Not so fast. A couple of things I liked here. Number one, Miz pulling Morrison off of Braun late in this match because Miz wanted to cover Braun. Because the whole deal is whoever covers Braun becomes the champion. Miz watched Morrison at 2 and he's like, no, wait. And you could tell he was struggling with the decision. Should I take Morrison off? So at the last second, he takes Morrison off. And it looks like Morrison could have pinned Braun. And then Miz is immediately like, oh no. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. And he tries to put Morrison back on him, but it was too late at that point. Braun kicks out. I love that. A little bit of dissension, but you also see that Miz knew, like, oh, what was I thinking, man? The gold was almost more than our friendship. So I like that little interaction between Miz and Morrison. And number 2, I have zero issue with booking Braun like a beast. I'd rather a 7-minute Braun victory than it taking 20 minutes for this supposed monster to seal the deal. I don't need to see Braun Strowman in a match for 20 minutes. Braun Strowman in a match for 7 minutes makes more sense because he's supposed to be a monster. That's what you told us he was. Right? I mean, we see Brock Lesnar have quick matches to make him look and feel special all the time. Brock Lesnar is constantly in short matches. And it builds up that beast persona. You put Brock in short matches because you want to build him as a beast. You want him to feel that way, look that way. Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg is in short matches because you want to build him as a beast. You know, you want to build him to feel and look like a beast so you have him win in short amount of time. That in Goldberg in a match past 5 minutes is never a good idea anyway. But still, Goldberg is one of those dudes that he only needs to go in there for a couple minutes, and guess what? He has a huge fan base. People love to see it. People feel a certain type of way. It's a big fight feel. Why? Because you know a monster is going in there. And if this person takes more than 5 minutes in a match, you know that his opponent is pretty badass. Must be. So, with Goldberg gone, with Brock Lesnar gone, who's the real beast in the company that's winning short matches? We do need them. We need to build those monsters, guys, whether you like it or not. Not everything can be a 5-star classic 27-minute match. Not everything. You need the monsters. Because in a culminating moment when a hero defeats that monster, or in this case, Braun's kind of a fucking face anyway. He'll be a fucking heel next month. He's like Kane and Big Show and all of them, right? They turn face and heel at the drop of a fucking hat. Snap of a finger, blink of an eye. But whoever slays the monster, eventually, that's such a huge moment. But you can't have that huge moment if you don't build a monster. The problem with Braun is we've seen this before where they built him up, but then they ruined it. Right? They swiped the carpet from underneath his feet time after time, and then they had to rebuild Braun. And then they did the same thing, and then they had to rebuild him. If you're going to consistently book Braun like a monster, I have no problem with this. We already knew Miz and Morrison were not walking out with a fucking heavyweight title anyway. So did you need to see this in 20 minutes or 7? At least try to book this guy like a monster. Don't just say he is. I want to see Braun flipping over ambulances, flipping over stakeout vans, hauling tractor trailers on his back. That's the Braun that needs to be booked. Not where's my fucking Lunchables, Braun. Always throwing a temper tantrum. Having a fucking 14-minute match with Shorty G. Or fucking Drew Gulak. Or where the fuck you throw at him. And I know. BC, I like these guys. I know. But this is Braun Strowman. A monster. Shouldn't be having 14-minute matches with John Morrison. Anyway, time will tell if they're consistent with Braun's booking or not. But the fact that they did book him like that last night, they didn't waste our time with 20 minutes of this bullshit. Braun gets a little bit more fucking beast status. Again, time will tell if it's consistent. Mixed with the fucking music video at the beginning. I like this. It's going into the good. I know. BC, what? I wasn't expecting that, man. I know, man. I know. That's why you gotta hear every fucking word. Because my reasoning, it might surprise you. But hopefully it also enlightens you. Opens your mind to a whole new way of thinking, right? If this was a 20-minute Braun Strowman match, were you really gonna put that into the good column? Or are you gonna totally shit on it because it was a 20-minute Braun Strowman match? But only time will tell, and again, just Miz and Morrison, the effort they put into that. Just their whole gimmick, their whole characters, man. There's no way I can shun them by putting them in anything but the good column for last night. Moving on, match number 5. So where are we at now? That's 3 good and 1 ugly. So 4 matches in. We have 4 tallies, but that ugly turns into 2 bads. So right now we're 3-2, really. Now, WWE title match. McIntyre, the champion, versus Bobby Lashley, the challenger. Bell to bell, this clocked in at 16 minutes. Bobby was booked beast status last night. He looked really good in this match. McIntyre showcased how good he is and why he's our champion. The match was a physical chess match. This whole thing had an old school vibe, and I loved it. Even the little details like MVP actually managing Lashley. There's an outrageous concept, right? Not like Leo Rush when he was with Lashley and Leo would just run around ringside yelling, Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. No, that's called a cheerleader. That's not a manager. There was a moment where McIntyre suplexed Lashley from up on the ropes, devastating suplex. And Lashley was like down and out. It was so devastating, even McIntyre was down and out. But MVP was from the outside yelling into Lashley, turn on your side, big man, turn on your side. That's okay, turn on your side. And Lashley heard him, turned on his side. And I just thought, what an awesome fucking moment, man. Where a manager is actually managing, not just cheerleading. That's old school type of shit. That's Bobby the Brain Heenan type of shit. And Lashley obeyed, man, and turned on his side. And then you heard MVP scream, now breathe, breathe. And you could see Lashley starts to consciously breathe. You know, think about it. And that calmed him down. And it was just like those little moments that might seem like a small detail, but that is major for the overlining story arc of the match. And that's what a manager is about, man. So, seriously, here's Weed Whacking Willie at like fucking 7 a.m. or whatever the fuck time it is. People are fucking sleeping around me and shit, but no, Weed Whacking Willie's like, maybe I can get home for 3. Gotta watch Judge Judy. Hey, Weed Whacking Willie, fuck yourself. Sorry, guys, had to do a little bit of a cut. I had to actually scream at Weed Whacking Willie and his posse. I usually try not to get, in front of people doing their job. But I'm trying to do something over here too, man. And I'm trying to get it done in a reasonable amount of time so I can go about my day. So I was just kindly asking, if they could maybe go somewhere else and do their weed whacking and then come back. But unfortunately, they were told they have to do this island right now that they're doing. So, I mean, that could take I don't know, there's fucking 3 of them, but it could take them another half an hour. So I apologize if you hear Weed whacking Willie and his posse in this video, guys. There's nothing I can do. The show must go on, right? Isn't that the professional wrestling theme? Or at least for Vincent Kennedy? Doesn't matter, the arena could fucking blow into pieces. The show must go on! Everybody, to the parking lot! Fucking arena's up in flames. So anyway, what I was saying though, guys, is the MVP and just the way he was managing last night, that just added to what was already a really good match. And when this thing was toward the end, you had Lana come out, so another little piece of the puzzle. Lana actually distracts Lashley. She was like, you cheated or something, probably by going to MVP, I think she means. I don't know. I was kind of distracted with some other things that were going on in the match, but Lana distracted Lashley, and that was followed by a cascading Claymore by Drew McIntyre. Took Bobby Lashley right out, and Drew retains his championship. This was a fun title match. Nothing more needs to be said. This goes into the good column for sure. So, after 5 matches, we are 4 in the good and 1 in the ugly. Not bad, right? I mean, so far. I mean, if they can rack up a couple more goods here, this is a good pay-per-view. Unfortunately, the next one befuddles me. Match number 6. This was supposed to be Andrade versus Apollo for the United States Championship. But they booted that championship match to the pre-show, and then they told us we're going to get a tag title match instead for the Raw brand. Steeet Profits, the champions, taking on the Viking Raiders, the challengers. So they swapped one title match for the other, but shouldn't the United States Championship be a little bit more prestigious? Prestigious? I can fucking speakish. Shouldn't that be more prestigious? There you go. I swear, I took some English back in school. You would think that would be a little bit more held in higher regards. I mean, the tag division is pretty much non-existent in WWE as it is. Shouldn't you try to build that up? No. They booted the singles title, and they gave us the tag title match. And if that wasn't bad enough, they didn't even give us the match! We never even got the fucking match. You know what we got? I hope I can even understand my notes on this. Because this is real. That match never happened, that tag match. And to be honest, here we are hours later, in the wee hours of the next fucking morning, and I still don't know what the fuck happened. I still don't know what I witnessed last night. You see, I felt like I did back in the day. When I was younger, I used to do a lot of extracurricular activities, right? I would do things that I wasn't supposed to do. Let's just say that, all right? I was a rebel without a cause. And I was on some shit. Shit that I shouldn't have been on. Last night, after viewing what I witnessed, I didn't know if I was feeling the effects of some of that shit that I did years ago, or if that was actually happening. Because there's times in my life where I have those moments. Is this what I did in the past fucking with me? Or is this actually happening? There were ninjas. Literally, there was flying ninjas. There was dragging tails in a dumpster. There was dream sequences. Eric or Ibar, one of them were having fucking dreams and we were along for the fucking trippy ride. There was turkey legs and bowling balls. Shields and axes. They're running on trailers. Did I mention there was ninjas? I don't know what the fuck this has to do with a tag team title match. And I understand if people said, oh, BC, I like that. I chuckled. BC, I laughed. Or BC, I sat back and just enjoyed it for what it was. It was entertainment. Get it, BC? WWE. The E is for entertainment, BC. Right. And the W is for wrestling. Now, I'm hoping you entertain me in a variety of ways. And you can be funny, right? R-Truth makes me laugh all the time. Miz and Morrison before their championship match. That made me laugh. What the Viking Raiders and the Steeet Profits have been doing the last 5 weeks, that hasn't been making me laugh. And even if I did chuckle, the fact that your tag team champions for over a month now have been being put in board games or decathlons or axe throwing contest, or bowling, or golf, basketball, frisbee. The fact that your tag title holders are booked that way for over a month is my first concern. My second concern is the fact that you took monsters like the War Machine, then the War Raiders, and then you totally ruined them with the Viking Experience. Then you realized that was really bad, so then you just made it just bad and made them the Viking Raiders. Not the Viking Adventure. Or was it the Viking Experience? Viking Experience, Viking Adventure, Viking Voyage, Viking Expedition, Viking Adventures. Who cares? They're the Viking Raiders. Nowhere near the prestige in that name like the War Machine when they first arrived on the scene. But they still had the feel if you booked them correctly. The Viking Raiders. And this is what they've become under Vince McMahon's tutelage for just under a year now. Vince McMahon has already made him a comedy act. How the fuck, after nearly 2 months of this, are you gonna ever look at the Viking Raiders as a legit monster team ever again? How are you gonna look at them as some badasses that you fear if you're ever walking in an alley and you're walking by them? You wanna, not make eye contact, turn to the side, and walk by as fast as you can. That's how the War Machine should have been booked. Instead, they're eating turkey legs. They're driving around in AJ Styles' mother's soccer mom van. Bowling, golfing, Red Rover, send one of the Street Profits over. Battleship, Yahtzee! I want to buy Park Place and Boardwalk. You can't. I already have a hotel there. Hey, Street Profits, want to play some Frisbee? I have 2 hours and my mom says I can play with you guys. What the fuck? And then we're told we're gonna have a fucking title match. You took away one title match. You said we'll get another one. So BC's like, okay, this is fucking dumb. Take away Apollo and Andrade, following Andrade, who we know is going to put together a damn good match at least. I mean, that's the one thing they had going for them. The story was shit, but at least we know they're going to have a good, right, we're going to get a good wrestling match at least. At least we know that one match, no matter what happens on the card, was going to deliver, wrestling-wise. So they took it out and they put in this one. Gotcha. But to not even have it, that's another thing. So you book the Street Profits like you do. That's a problem. You book the Viking Raiders like you're doing as a comedy act. That's a second problem. The third problem, you tell us we're going to get a title match. You even swapped out one for it, and you didn't deliver. That's a third problem. The fourth problem, how is any of this shit? How does anybody not see it as getting out of the realm of entertainment, and now we are in the realm of this could never fucking happen, even if you were taking the shit that I took years ago. If you were on the craziest shit ever, I don't care how you took it, you smoked it, you fucking sniffed it, whatever the fuck you did with it, you're on some loopy shit, you're seeing shit, things are fucking moving by you, the walls are caving in, you're on some trippy shit. This still wouldn't be happening. I understand the Fiend's character. You can have something like we saw with John Cena at WrestleMania, but that was even on the line. That was about to cross the line. But because of the Fiend character, I'll suspend my disbelief. The Undertaker, you can have matches like that because that's his character. So I'll suspend disbelief a little bit more for those characters. How the fuck are we all going into a dream with Ibar? How the fuck did Tozawa and his crew of ninjas show up out of nowhere? How is there a dragon's tail in a dumpster? A dragon! A fucking dragon! Guys, how... At what point do you stop chuckling for a moment? I love all of this, basically. This is fun. At what point do you just stop and think, okay, but this is actually like this is making pro wrestling like a farce. Like, there's a line. I love pro wrestling because of the wild zaniness. I love that type of shit. You have to suit that to the right characters, though. A. B. There's still a line. Just because we love wild and zany, that's what we loved about pro wrestling. The Ronda Rousey thing, perfect example. When they all got arrested, Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte. Remember, and they're all in fucking cop cars. Ronda somehow gets into the front seat of the cop car, handcuffed, and tries to drive it. Crashes right into Charlotte's cop car that she was in, so Charlotte escaped. It was crazy. I loved it. The Undertaker match at WrestleMania, that's nuts. It was so edited and cinematic is the word, but because it's The Undertaker, it works. Remember all of Undertaker's Buried Alive matches? Or even when Undertaker has Lightning Strike? Or all the crazy shit with The Undertaker. We loved it. It fits the character. The Fiend, same shit. But when you just have two tag teams that don't have superpowers, where does this shit... I mean... What is next? I mean, where do we go from here? This is tricky, and I don't want to go here. You don't even go here! Shout out to Bianca Belair, who's MIA, by the way, because Vince doesn't know what to do with her. This is tricky, because where do we go? On SmackDown, is Shorty G teleporting to space? I'm being serious. You laugh at that, because you got the concept in your head. You thought about it. But I'm serious, though. I mean, is that next in the storyline? The G that is the shortest of them all, Shorty G, is teleporting to space. Now, on one hand, you're thinking, well, BC, actually, the product is so bad, that actually sounds entertaining. You are, little by little, or a lot by a lot, bringing down the prestige of pro wrestling. Not just WWE. You can shit on WWE all you want, but that is making pro wrestling an absolute farce. We're straddling the line, and I'm talking AEW too. You know, with Matt Hardy's character, just like The Fiend and Undertaker, I'm willing to suspend disbelief a little more. But even they have to be careful. Because when you cross the line too much, there's no way that we can even suspend any more disbelief. Now it's just out of the realm of reality to the point where you are bringing down the actual industry. I hate to be the stickler here, because I know how it sounds, but I'm trying to take the industry of professional wrestling, the entire business, all the companies, and I'm trying to secure and save any prestige that we possibly can at a time where we need that prestige more than ever. Because pro wrestling is on a downward spiral. It's on a decline for years now. So we need to save any type of, I guess prestige is the word I'll use. We need to protect it. You can go outside the box. You can be wild and zany and crazy. But, this is like shitting on pro wrestling. I mean, that's what, to me, it was like they gave zero fucks about protecting shit. They just went out there and they just did the stupidest shit. And of course it might make you fucking chuckle. I mean, The Simpsons, if you ever watched an episode of The Simpsons, it's the stupidest shit, but you probably laughed 1,000 times during the half an hour. This isn't The Simpsons, bro. This was a title match. It was a title match that turned into one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen in my 30 plus years of watching pro wrestling. If you chuckled, if you laughed, if you really enjoyed it, that's awesome. That is awesome. This review, I will not be doing this review justice if this goes anywhere but the ugly column. That might be an unpopular decision, but it's unapologetically done. I have to try to protect the fucking business as best I can, man. I'm I put that into the good column, and we all talk about how awesome that was. And where does it end? Shorty G is now on the moon. Right? Shorty G versus Ali, first ever moon match. And they're transporting to fucking planet Mars, planet Neptune. They accidentally transport back to planet Earth, where they're fighting in a supermarket out of nowhere. They're just brawling down the cracker aisle. They stop for some Coca-Colas, some Lay's potato chips, and then they're right back on planet Uranus. We laugh, but where does this end? I mean, this is... They booted a title match of Apollo and Andrade. This was one of the only matches that we knew for sure was going to deliver a wrestling match. Before the event even took place, we knew at least Andrade and Apollo was going to deliver a badass wrestling match. They booted that title match for this one, and it never even happened. Again, this was just something that I'm okay. Dude, if you want to laugh, if you want comedy in your show, absolutely, I'm down with that. But ninjas and dragon tails, and I don't know if this was... I don't know who this was for. I'm sure kids enjoyed it fully. Kids thoroughly enjoyed it. But for anyone that says, yeah, well, the product is geared toward kids, that's actually false. Do your research. The main demographic for pro wrestling is 18 to 35. That's their bulk. It's actually not kids. I know it may seem that way sometimes with Vince's booking. But if you do your research, 18 to 35 is their main bulk. Kids don't even beat the 36 to 51 demos. Kids, I believe, are in the third bracket. Upon my latest research, which was just 3 months ago. So, this was just geared to like... I don't know, like a fucking 7-year-old, bro. I mean, this was... Anyway, I'm giving it way too much fucking time. This was weird to the point where it was just crossing the line. And actually, it's one of those things that it takes professional wrestling and it brings it to the line of just becoming a farce. Like, it seriously ruins the credibility. If the character justifies it, we'll suspend that disbelief, right? No harm, no foul. But if the character, I mean, this is War Machine. This is your tag champions, the Street Profits. How the fuck are we in their dream? How are ninjas showing up? You got fucking turkey legs being thrown at people. There's a dragon's tail in a dumpster. A dragon! You heard the growling. Where did a dragon come from? So after you're done chuckling and laughing, did you stop and think, what the hell happened to pro wrestling? It has to go in the ugly, or else I should not have a channel. I mean, I'm the worst reviewer in the world if I'm putting that anywhere but the ugly. So, after 6 matches, we have 4 in the good and 2 in the ugly. Unfortunately, those 2 uglies get crossed out in the end of this, and they turn into 2 bads apiece, which means we're currently at a tie. This main event will decide everything. This was the main event of the greatest wrestling match ever. That's what it was supposed to be. That's what we were told this was going to be for over a month now. This is Edge versus Randy Orton. Bell to bell, this clocked in at 45 minutes. We heard reports that it was roughly 35. That is false. It was 45 minutes. They tried every trick in the book for this one, guys. I'm going to try to stick to my notes as best I can while I re-go over this with you guys. Because they had everything. And I tried to put as much as I could into these notes. There was so many tricks that they pulled out. There's probably a lot of shit that I did leave out. But they played on our nostalgia strings with a sound over of Howard Finkel. I believe. Possibly a bootleg too, though, because I don't remember him. I don't know how they did it. I'm hoping it was I have to re-watch that beginning sequence especially. I have to find out if that was actually Finkel or if that was a bootleg, which a lot of people then would find disrespectful. I'm happy they at least thought to bring Finkel, at least even his name, to the forefront, because he deserves that. But If it wasn't Finkel, it sure as hell fucking sounded like Finkel. But they had a sound over of Howard Finkel. They had the old MSG fucking mic that came down from the ceiling. They had that. They had the referee. In this case, it was Charles Robinson. He had the old school light blue button-up shirt with the black bow tie. That was the old get-up for the referees back in the day. So they really played on the nostalgia strings. They know that nostalgia goes over well with wrestling fans. They had that down packed. They had audience reaction, chants, and overall crowd noise piped in to the PC and or post-editing as well, but they piped in sound effects. I could have done without that. I don't need that, but I understand that for them to pull off what they wanted to, they could not do that with 20 or 30 trainees in the PC. That was not going to cut it. If the reaction wasn't there, right, that helps build the feel, the aura of the match. Same thing with commentary. If you watch most of that match, man, you see Samoa Joe, he's not moving his lips, but yet he's talking. That was all done post-edit because they wanted to bring that fire the entire match. You listen to that commentary, they were amped up the entire match, even at the low points. That's because they wanted that feel, like what you were witnessing was amazing. That's what I mean about just pulling out all of the tricks. They didn't stop at all, man. They used every trick imaginable, including post-edit, not just piping in crowd noise, but they actually did stopping cuts where they redid shit. They edited it shit out. They even at one point, guys, it's a true story. They had a cameraman was inside the ring for a lot of moves to add that extra dramatic effect. So in other words, I believe one move was like a suplex from the ropes, and the cameraman was in the ring and shaking the camera and had a zoom over shot of Edge. I mean, they pulled out all of the fucking stops. They had rock bottoms performed, pedigrees. They paid homage to Eddie Guerrero. They did the Kurt Angle, a couple of Kurt Angle maneuvers. So they were even pulling out moves from past greats. A lot of the sequences were from actual great wrestling matches. If you guys go back and watch this match, they were doing exact sequences even. Whether they meant to do that or not, I don't know. But, man, they pulled out all the stops. Randy Orton got busted open the hard way through a headbutt by Edge. And you could tell there was a lot of edits where they had to clean that off because there was times where he was bleeding pretty bad. And then there was, in the very next shot, it was basically wiped off. That's what I mean about post-edits. They had Edge kicking out of 2 RKOs. They had Orton kicking out of 2 spears by Edge. So they had all the false finishes. Man, I mean, they did it all, guys, in 45 minutes. The finish saw Orton go low and then hit Edge with the punt. He brought the punt back. And I thought that was a great way to end this, man. The vicious Orton punt was something that was immaculate back in the day. Unfortunately, they stopped it. But you go low on Edge after 45 minutes and then you give him the punt and Edge was down and out. Randy Orton is the ultimate victor in this one. Post-match, Orton leans over a motionless Edge and whispers, "Now go home. Go home, Edge, to Lyric, to Ruby, to Beth, and tell them Uncle Randy said hi." Just that character of Randy Orton, it's so stealth. You know, it is badass. It is methodical. And everything he does, there was one point where he leaned over Edge during the match at the commentary table. And he leans over and he says some words I'm not going to repeat, but they picked it up on camera, man. It was great. This motherfucker gave 0 fucks. I don't know if that skipped past editing or editing just left it in because it added to the match. But wow, that's all the shit that I was able to put down on notes. There was a lot of shit I wasn't able to. But wow, that's a lot to, man, just going over it again with you guys made me think about what I was viewing last night. You guys want the sad truth. If they didn't taint and ruin this match from the beginning, by calling it the greatest wrestling match ever, if they didn't ruin it by calling it that from the jump, this was, or would at least definitely be, in a lot of wrestling fans' top 10 for greatest matches ever. I bet you a lot of pro wrestling fans would easily have this in their top 10. A lot of fans might even have it in their top 5. Some top 3. It was that good. But they ruined it from the beginning when they pre-called it the greatest wrestling match ever. They ruined it. That's expectations you could never live up to. But if they didn't do that and we all got that main event last night, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, not saying all of us, but a lot of us would have that in our top 10 for WWE matches, mind you. I know some people can pull up some New Japan and this and that. I get it. Maybe even some AEW matches already. Who knows? But for WWE, a lot of people, I could easily see this being in their top 10. 45. That's almost an Iron Man match, guys. That's almost an Iron Man match. So, it just sucks that they had to ruin that by calling it the greatest wrestling match ever. No, it's what? Was it by the way, you want my honest opinion, was that the greatest wrestling match I ever witnessed? Absolutely not. And I told you from the beginning it wasn't going to be. It's going to take more than all the bells and whistles, all the false finishes, bringing in some nostalgia, doing every other great maneuvers, having a cameraman in the ring, getting busted open. All of that drastically helps. Piping in sound noise, which I don't actually like. Having the commentary do it afterwards. You know, it's that'll help a lot of it. But it takes more than that. You just have to have that upfront feel, you know? Like, what make Hulk Hogan and The Rock? Remember their WrestleMania match? What was that, guys? WrestleMania 18, I want to say? But The Rock took on Hulk Hogan in Toronto, Canada. And nobody really was expecting that much. I mean, on paper, it's like, whoa, Rock and Hulk. But Hulk Hogan was so much past his prime. But once that match started, the electricity, it was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And it was contagious to us at home, and it was contagious to The Rock and Hulk. The Rock and Hulk. So they upped their game. You could tell they took it to another level. And that's what makes matches like that great. It's not something you can pre-plan. It's not something that you could call ahead of time. If that feel isn't there, it's not going to be. You could do everything underneath the sun to try to get it there, but if the feel isn't there, it's not going to be one of the greats. They did enough last night to at least be in the conversation of great matches. But I don't know anybody that would call that the greatest match ever. I don't personally know anybody like that. Maybe you do. Maybe you are someone who is calling that the greatest wrestling match ever. That was not for me. That was a really good match, though. Would I even call it great? Hard-pressed, but really good. And I could easily see, if somebody was to say, BC, here's my top 10 greatest wrestling matches ever for WWE, and that's one of them, I could easily see that being there. So, they busted their asses, guys. Edge and Orton. I have to give them props, no question. I'm even hearing Edge is injured. Edge has a torn tricep is what we're hearing. There was a bruise. I believe it was on his right arm underneath on that tricep area. So I believe it would be his right arm if that's the case. But I'm hearing that Edge got injured during that match. If this is true, a torn triceps can take anywhere from 7 to 10 months to rehab, if rehab goes correctly. Now, Edge is about 46 years old. He could easily take a year for this, guys. But even fully healthy, 7 to 10 months at least. So just when we got Edge back, just like that, Edge is now on the shelf for, I'm saying, the next year. You will not see Edge probably, most likely anyway, till summer of 2021. And that's if he even wants to come back. At that point, he's 47 years old. He's already injured. Just coming back, you know. But that's what I mean about busting his ass. I mean, people like Edge and Orton, they don't half-ass it. He just came back, and he's having a 37-minute, no-holds-barred, Falls Count Anywhere match at WrestleMania with Orton. 37 minutes. And then his very next match, 45 minutes. I mean, that's Edge and Orton, and that's that old school vibe, you know. The show goes on, we'll put our bodies through the limit, but we want to make sure that when we go back through the curtain, we put on the best possible performance, best possible match we possibly could have. You ain't gonna find me shitting on that. For anyone says I'm not positive enough, that's easily going into the fucking good column. No question about it. There was some cringy shit in this. There was shit I wouldn't have done. There was shit that befuddled me in this match, but in the long run, man, it was highly entertaining, for sure. That goes into the good. And because of that, the final tally now, those two uglies get crossed off. Each ugly turns into two bads. That's 4 that go into the bad column, but 5 that are in the good column. 5-4. This slightly, thanks to that main event, and thanks to matches like Lashley and Drew McIntyre, and even the women at the start of the show, for holding their own. Just given 9 minutes, under 9 minutes. But they did everything they possibly could have. That's respect. I don't just come on these reviews and play Monday morning quarterback like I'm some fucking know-it-all insider that's going to depict the performances to the point where it's disrespectful. I'm not that person. Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to use that knowledge in the most, or at least the best way possible, not just for us, right, the audience, but for those wrestlers, for the people like Cody in AEW that asked us to tell them what they're doing correctly, tell them what they're doing wrong, tell them what needs to be changed, tell them what we like and what we don't like. Cody asked us to do that. Many wrestlers ask us to do that. Be honest with them. That's what I want to use these reviews in this platform for. Not just to see something I don't like and just, totally shit on it. No. So I take a lot of that cringy shit and the shit that I would have done differently and just the downright bad shit in that match. And I see that the good overtook it. There was way more good than bad. So yeah, 5-4. It was a even pay-per-view the whole way. There was nothing that was really captivating me to the core. There was nothing that was going to make me go back and watch this pay-per-view again. And I'm still not sure that I will. And because of that, it was 4-4 going right into the main event. But that main event was, we all knew during this thing that we were watching a fucking war between these two. So I think 5-4, pretty fucking accurate. It's as accurate as we could possibly be. Now I'm interested to see how you guys had it, man. I asked you guys at the beginning of this review to put down how you would have scored it. How many goods, how many bads, how many uglies. Hopefully a lot of you guys participated. I really want to see how you guys had it. I want to kind of gauge how you guys saw this. So, I don't know. Be interesting. But that's it, guys. That's a review. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly for Backlash. I know we got amplified to the core a few times. Don't worry. No lawn mowing mows and no fucking weed whacking willies. And no landscaping Lennies got injured during the process of this filming. Nobody. We had a little words, but I totally respect what they're doing. They got a job to do. And I know we got amplified on some of these matches. But had to be done. It's in the spirit of entertainment. We're going to get some coffees. We're going to whoop the rest of this. It's weird. I keep thinking it's the weekend already. It's just Monday, right? It's crazy, man. So we got Raw tonight. I'll see you guys in the morning for the Monday Night Raw review and reaction. Until then, whoop that ass, man. Think, be, live, amplify.